All right, now this is crazy. I don't know if y'all can see this thumbnail actually, so let's move it. But Dill Cheese looks like from the thumbnail relating SoFaygo's career to Smokepurpp in some way. So I just wanted to see what he was talking about, because you know the SoFaygo fan's gonna be pissed off. But let's just make things clear first. I mean, I don't know if the fall off. I don't even know if SoFaygo has really fallen off yet because he hasn't really started. But Smokepurpp had a higher, like, you know, peak than SoFaygo. So I don't even know if you can really relate it that way either, because Smokepurpp's fall off is definitely greater because he had a higher, you know what I'm saying? Like the difference. Whereas SoFaygo kind of just like went up and then kind of like stayed. And that difference between where people expected him to be, that's, you know, where the dissatisfaction is coming from with his fans. But let's see what he's saying.
Rap is a fairly young genre that was made up in the early 1970s. Since then, we've seen rappers come in all shapes, sizes, and forms. Every artist and rapper oftentimes has a story, or as the kids like to say, lore. Every rapper's story is unique, but sometimes history tends to repeat itself. In this video, we will focus on time history repeated itself in rap. NBA Youngboy and Chief Keef. Chief Keef, a young man who came up in the very deadly Chicago, Illinois, rose to fame for his...
I don't want to hear about Youngboy and Chief Keef, bro. I want to hear about this whole SoFaygo situation. This is Isaiah, TJ, and Lil Tracy. I don't care about that. Sorry. TK47, Glock 40 Spaz. Okay. I could kind of see that. Although, again, I don't know how we're relating, like, underground rappers to mainstream hits. Like TK47, that's The Race. That song was so big, like, everybody heard that on the radio, whereas we're relating people who haven't even hit the radio yet.
TK and Glock 40. I'm gonna keep this one very brief. Both super talented and super young. Both had tons of potential, but due to choosing a life of crime and being locked up, their rap careers would get cut.
I feel like that's like every single rapper though. Like most of them are doing some sort of illegal activity, or a lot of them at least. Where's the SoFaygo? Okay. Smokepurpp, SoFaygo. Let's see what he says.
And SoFaygo. Both signed to Travis Scott at one point. Both unfollowed by Travis Scott as well. Both never made the cut for either of
Oh, I see where he's going with this. Travis wanted to sign Smokepurpp, or at least he said that. And then I think when they dropped their song, maybe it didn't do as well as he predicted. So he's like, you know what? I don't want to sign you to my label. I'm sorry, bro. You're just not good enough. Maybe he got in the studio, understood that he was popping like 14 different types of Xanax, of the school bus, the green Hulks and whatever. He's like, nah, I can't mess with this kid. He's going to kill himself. Or sorry, delete himself. Because back in that era, these rappers were like ridiculous. I don't know how they're even alive. Their brains must be fried. But yeah, SoFaygo he did sign to Travis Scott, and they're probably cool. Again, we did a whole video on how SoFaygo didn't even want necessarily the feature from Travis just yet. And so it's his decision that he's not going to a major, because I'm sure he has deals on the table. He just hasn't taken one, and they're probably worth M's. So he's probably trying to get to like a certain level where then he can really cash out.
Travis's album, Astroworld and Utopia. Both were good, but now they're extremely mid. Sorry, man. Hey, Smokepurpp was hard back in the day, man. So was SoFaygo, man. Hey, this is Dill Cheese.
That's it? That was the only relation? They had a friendship or a relationship with Travis Scott at some point, and then they turned mid. I don't think SoFaygo's that mid. I mean, if you do listen to his older music, it just has some sort of like higher energy to it. So I'll give you that. I understand why people would call it mid now, because when you go into the industry, like, I don't know, you're working with people who have been making music for like the producers with big hits for like the last 10 years. And I feel like a lot of rappers fans like in this underground wave, because it sounds much different. Like it sounds almost like a little bit off beat because they're rapping in different types of pockets, different types of beats. But when you start working with like the greats, like even Mike Dean or any of the, you know, certified great producers, they like form you into another industry rapper or artist, which is good for hitting, you know, radio or mainstream listeners. But for the underground, of course, they're going to stop liking it because that wasn't the type of music that they liked that made them become a fan of you. But I wouldn't call SoFaygo that. I think he's got another couple of years, maybe, yeah, another couple of years before we can really start having the conversation of, did he really miss? Like, did he miss out on becoming the next big artist in this generation like Yeet, where he just didn't sign a big deal or he didn't drop soon enough and just lost the momentum? And as we've seen, like, he did drop, what was the last one, like Go Plus or something, and it was actually a solid project. And I think he does really well organically. People always talking about SoFaygo. I just think it's harsh as hell to be relating him to Smokepurpp at this point. But also, again, Smokepurpp had a higher peak. Audi was a bigger song than anything SoFaygo's had. So it's kind of like a diss at both of them in a way.